Everything is Awesome is part of Courts and Parts, a podcast network featuring pop culture, TV, movie, and geek podcasts. Check out some of our other shows, like TV Ate My Brain, Let's Chat with Revelin Friends, and Podstalgic at courtsandparts.com.
Awesome. Just tell people they're awesome and mean it.
Awesome.
Awesome. Awesome.
Did you have an awesome time? Did you drink awesome shooters and listen to awesome music and then just sit around and soak up each other's awesomeness?
Awesome. 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 That was awesome. You guys are awesome. No, you're awesome. No, you are awesome.
Sir, you are awesome. Seriously.
Awesome. Awesome. Awesome.
Everything is awesome.
Welcome to this week's edition of Everything is Awesome. I am your host, Kevin. This is a show where we sit down and talk to awesome people about awesome things. This week's guest is, it's actually someone that I kind of worked for briefly, kind of, without any pay, so I guess interns. It was actually my first, writing, quote-unquote, gig outside of my own little, website empire. And found my first experience was with her original podcast that Nicholas from Robots and Race Cars, I believe, turned me on to. Welcome to the show. Former local, I don't know, entertainer, we'll say, from Philly.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show, Anna Van Thuyne.
Nope, got it wrong, but it's okay.
What is it?
It's Van Thuyne. It's tricky.
Damn it! I was going literally as I was throughout the day as I was going over the intro in my head. I was like, all right, it's Thuyne. It's got to be Thuyne. And then I convinced myself within the last 20 minutes that it was Thune. I don't know why.
No, it's fine. Everybody says Thune. Everybody thinks it's the U.
Yeah.
The U totally throws people off.
Well, thank you for doing the show.
And the other thing is it's okay. I'm just started going by my real name, and it's going to take a while for people to know how to say it. My family understands how difficult my last name is. I actually have I feel like I have a phobia or something because I get so nervous when I can't say someone's name because I'm like, oh, I know how much I hate it and they'll hate it. It's just a whole anxiety thing.
It's no longer a phobia or fear of mine or anything because I don't speak real well to begin with. Let alone
well, we're from Philly. That's why we don't need to speak well. Fuck that.
Exactly.
Oh, can I curse?
Oh yeah, absolutely. There is. Okay. There's it's a podcast. It's not family friendly whatsoever. So yes, thanks for doing the show. You had emailed randomly. I think literally the last time you and I had any communication, it was when I was attempting to write for your old website.
Oh, fun. Yeah. I've just been trying to get the word out. I actually didn't mean to send the script, so I should make you sign an NDA. But yeah, I'm trying to get people I've taken a break the past year and a half, just really trying to educate myself up in New York City. And now I'm starting to make stuff again. So I was like, I'm just going to reach out to people. And I'm really happy you reached back. It's actually funny how you say that you came across my original podcast through the band Robots and Race Cars. That was a band.
That's because are you friends with Nicholas or the band?
Yeah, me, Nicholas. Nicholas wrote the theme to my last podcast. I think Nicholas and I'm saying this now on the radio. I think Nicholas and I will write a rock opera one day together. Nice. I'm putting it out there.
Now you have to.
I think we would probably we love My Chemical Romance and David Bowie, and I think we could probably write something really cool.
Yeah, him and Matthew, we used to do a show called the Zomcast together, and we would just sit around and talk about The Walking Dead, and I've known those guys since over a decade now because
I think I used to watch the Zomcast. When you guys, I think I did. Yeah, I think I remember that.
Back when we broadcasted on Stickcam and before we got shut down by AMC.
Oh yeah.
It was.
They did. They shut you down.
Yeah, they shut us down. But that was before, because the original title of the show was The Walking Dead Zomcast. But like there was literally, and probably still is, a podcast called Talking Dead that has no affiliation with AMC. So I still know.
Well, Chris Hardwick is is it Chris Hardwick that was talking? Yeah, he's got monopoly on all the talkings. You got Talking Dead. You got what else he has like 3 of their shows now.
Talking with Chris Hardwick, which is like what happens when there's no Walking Dead.
They just talk.
Yeah, it's his talk show that he does now for AMC. He also did I don't know what they called it. I think it was Talking Bad when for the last season of Breaking Bad.
Okay.
So yeah, he's like
it's so original with their titles.
He is the I guess like the nerds version of Ryan Seacrest. Like he's just everywhere.
Yeah, you know what though? Good for him. He was in Singled Out. I loved that show on MTV, and he was also in House of a Thousand Corpses, one of my favorite movies.
The only thing that bums me out about Chris Hardwick, and I hosted many podcasts in the last 10 years, but one of the podcasts, the way we would always end it was it's stealing a gimmick from Jimmy Kimmel, is we would like announce Chris Hardwick was going to be a guest of the show, and then I'd run out of time for him at the end of it, but it's I have such like a love-hate relationship with this guy because he's a talented dude, and I basically just want to like be like Philly's version of him essentially. And
you just gotta work really hard. He didn't when did he start to get big? Like in his late 30s?
Easily, because I mean Walking Dead's been on for 8 years, and I imagine in his early 40s. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah. Do you ever think about Adventure Time is on its 10th season? Do you ever think back at TV shows and be like, wow, that's 10 years of my life?
South Park, I think the first season was on when I was in 5th grade. So yeah. Yeah,
I was in grade school. I remember not having Comedy Central, and I would download waves from the episodes because little sound bites. And
that was it was dial-up days because
Yeah, I was on the internet all the time. I'm still on the internet all the time.
It used to be. I don't know. I guess back then I wasn't on all the time, but I was on enough. But now it's literally an extension. It's just literally at my hip with my phone all the time.
Yeah, it is constant. I remember there was, and parents, if you're listening to this, don't do this with your kids. We had a computer room where I would just be in the computer room, and I would have my dial-up and my AOL, and my parents it was the wild west back then.
The idea of even having a computer room, I have 2 kids, and they know what a computer is. There's laptops around the house. They have their own. My son's 5, my daughter is 3, and they have little Amazon Fire tablets that they use. So I mean, it's way locked down because I'm that parent that is. I know what I did on the internet. Yeah, so
no, that's good.
But it's there is no computer room. I mean, and if there is, I think you might be a degenerate because there's no need.
You're poor. You just have one computer.
My son's really into the idea of. I don't know if he's into the idea of podcasting or into the idea of talking to a microphone. But when my shed is normally my studio, and so whenever we're in there, he sees all the microphones and wants to sit down and record.
You should make a podcast with him. There's kids that
we've
do
recorded,
it.
and we've released on this feed. We've released an episode, and we just haven't done it in a while. He actually now I have enough equipment where I can actually set something up in his room. So once. I'm so excited to be and then to have him like that, and then also the other day, he has this dopey smartwatch that has a camera on it. It's like a VTech one, and I'm sitting there watching him play with his sister, telling her what to say and do, and all of a sudden he says, when he's done, he says cut, and I'm like, wait a second.
Uh-oh, you got a little
this
director.
Kid's he's officially directed more than I have, and that's my thing. So
that's good.
I'm super excited to see my kid succeed in so many things that I've wanted to do. So
It's a little scary though.
Yeah.
Like kids love YouTube. Like they just sit and they watch YouTube. But to have like your kid put together a YouTube show, I don't know. I don't have any children. I'm a new aunt. I have a nephew. And I'm just like that kid should never have an internet ever.
And it's
ever.
at least what I noticed with my niece, who is 7-ish, we'll say, she was obsessed with.
What is she? Is she
No,
like
I just
sensitive about
I'm
her
a terrible
age?
uncle.
Like she doesn't like.
So,
kiss
she's older than my kid.
it.
I
don't
want to
remember what
say, yeah, well, it doesn't matter. She's a kid. She's no.
She's not listening to this. She's not
No,
like. He doesn't
she'll
know my
never
age.
listen to that. I hope she's not listening to this. But who knows? She has the
Dropping
internet,
F-bombs
so
everywhere.
who knows? But she's really into those like dopey YouTube shows that are opening Easter eggs and those blind boxes and stuff.
Yes.
It's
Kids love those. Okay, here's what I don't understand. Wouldn't they want to buy one for themselves and open it themselves? No, they just want to sit and they want to watch a video of someone else opening a toy. I'm like, what kind of world are we living in?
We were over their house one day and I was playing on her tablet and like YouTube was the first app that opened and it's like, here's your recently watched. And it was like 10 videos of Easter eggs. I'm like, why Easter egg? Like, why not? Like I get like watching someone open a loot crate. That's kind of cool. Like I can't get into it, but like I can see someone that's like, it's kind of like the idea of why Twitch is so successful. Like when I was like a kid, the thing I liked more, a little less than playing my own video game, was watching someone else play a video game. Like that was cool to do. Like all my friends, we would sit around and watch each other play video games. So I get like that.
Well, that's why like PewDiePie is like huge. Doesn't he get big off of playing video games? And I'm not a PewDiePie fan.
The name sounds familiar, but I also, as much as I say as I used to do that, I'm not in that culture anymore either. So,
oh my god, he has like millions of subscribers.
I think
and
is
all
that
he
the
does
guy
is,
that like
play
recently
games.
got in like some hot water? Yeah.
Yup.
That's
He said
how.
the
Yeah, he's
N-word
like
on
the
one of
most
his
successful
streams.
YouTuber, Twitch guy now, or whatever. So.
Yeah, he said it was an accident because I say that word by accident
Never
all the
something
time.
you say on accident. It's
Yeah, that's not some. Especially as a white person, like that is not something you say by accident.
I mean, I guess he's probably in his 20s, if I had to guess, just based off of look and what he's doing with his life right now. But like, so when I was in my 20s, like I was that shock jock type of guy where I also had a buddy who I would say, you allow me to say this word. So like I'm not proud of it, but my early days of podcasting was very Stern like and very Kid Chris like and whatnot. Yes.
Well, you listened to the Pincushion. I had a whole segment where I talked about sex and relationships, and I really think that was the only thing people listen
it's funny
to sometimes.
I don't know. I haven't listened to the new podcast yet because I don't want to. I don't like to. I think I said before we hit record, like I don't like to know too much. So I usually wait until after I talk to my guests before I listen to whatever the heck they're doing. And so I guess it was on Twitter or somewhere like where you're talking about your podcast, and it's like, oh, I'm so happy to be doing this adult show, and I'm not talking about sex all the time. I was like, wasn't that the whole show? Like that's all I remember from it.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's like the only thing people gravitated towards, and I didn't talk about sex to get people to like pay attention. I'm a very sex positive person. I'm about like talking about it, especially to our younger people, our late teens, people that are like ready to have sex. Like they should be talking about it and they shouldn't feel ashamed. But really, it just turned into people like really just zeroing in on the fact that I talked about blowjobs a few times. Yeah, I remember that episode. Everybody remembers that episode.
I almost assumed every episode, but it's been like a couple of years since it's been on.
There's been it was broken into segments because like it was. I also talked about like
I do remember
stuff,
that
so
stuff.
it was
You're
like
right. So it was more than just
yeah. Yeah, you do have a brain. You do talk about other things. That's
let's
true.
Let's get into maybe some more of the stuff with entertainment and you. I like to start at the origin point.
Yes.
Like what was it that I mainly know you as a podcaster, but like as me following you while I was writing for your website went on and what stuff, and I knew, I saw that you did a lot more. But what was your origin point for, I guess we'll say, entertainment in general when you were a kid?
As Lady Gaga puts it, I was born this way. I've been doing entertainment, and I'm thinking about it as an adult now. Did I ever not do this? I always was in plays when I was a kid. I was making movies with video recorders, with a video camera. I know what the equipment is. With my brother when we were kids. I had a blog in high school that got me in a lot of trouble. So I've just always had my hands in something creative, and 2016 was a really weird and rough year for me. I'm sure as everybody had a shitty 2016. But I also went to the Upright Citizens Brigade, which is where I'm learning now, and I learned a lot and I grew. So I was going by a stage name for a number of years, at the request of a lot of my family, because they are very Catholic and conservative and I am not. And 2016 happened again, and I was like, screw everybody else's feelings. It's time for me to be an adult, shed this Jo Pincushion persona and really think about what I want. I'm always have my hands in different stuff, but what I really want to do now. So I came back to podcasting because I love connecting with people, and I think podcasting is a great way to build an audience. And it's like this show Apocalypse Now is like therapy for me. It's just all of the stuff that happened in 2016. I'm trying to present it in it's not funny. I'll just present this as what is going on in the world is not funny, but I'm trying to present it in a humorous way to try to build bridges and inspire people to have conversations with other people. I thought you were setting that up as
my podcast is not funny. I'm like, that's not a good way to sell it.
I mean, what's going on isn't fun. I don't want people to think I'm just oh, here's this white girl just being things aren't that bad. People lighten up. It's it is that bad. Let's just fucking, because when I am in shitty situations, when I go through haunted houses and when I get scared, I laugh. And that's how I cope with things.
It's when I 2016, as you said, was obviously shitty for everybody for many reasons. Me, my uncle, who I was very close to, he was more of a brother. We lost him to his battle with cancer, almost 10 months ago now at this rate. And so right about now, this is a year ago, a year from today was when things got bad. And I turned to podcasting. I stopped kind of creating for a little while and was just kind of back to consuming a lot. And it was nice to for the hour ride to just laugh and not think about the real shitty world. So yeah, it's laughing. I'm in the same boat. That's my cure all, is just to sit back and listen to something that makes me laugh.
Yeah, I recently, my grandmother had dementia for about 10 years, and I helped. It was bad. She passed away this past March, which is a blessing and a curse. But the way I always deal with that, it was with humor. I did her eulogy, and I say it was the hardest open mic I've ever had to do. Because at some points, I said a joke and nobody laughed, but that's how I deal with it. My family knew. I was I'll do the eulogy. They're she's gonna say jokes and it's gonna be fine. But I don't know what it is about laughter that helps people cope with things, but laughter can be really beneficial mentally and health wise too. So but yeah, I'm not making light of our plight, because we are kind of screwed.
So what was going back? I will stick with podcasting for now. But so what was there a podcast, or was there something that drove you to start podcasting?
Back when I had my first podcast, The Pincushion, I was unemployed, and a radio station was will you produce this show every week and we'll pay you if you get sponsors. And I was I could totally put together a radio show every week, but why would I give it to these people when I could just turn it into a podcast? So that was it was like, I'm a workaholic. My friends will tell you I'm a workaholic, so it was an excuse. The reason I think I had 4 different segments on the show was because it was an excuse for me to see my friends. It's so sad.
No, but that's not, like it's the reason I podcast like this way is I get to A, meet new people, and B, just like connect with people that I haven't talked to in forever. It's I don't know, that's what I love about podcasting, is that it can be used as a social tool if you need it to be.
Yeah, and it's unlike any platform. Like the mistakes that I've made with the Pincushion, like if you listen to Mark Maron's early stuff, he sounds like morning zoo radio, which I feel like the Pincushion was like me just trying to please all these people and try to make it sound crisp. But I realized, like, because I've listened to, like I said, Mark Maron, I listen to Comedy Bang Bang, I love Lore, I've been listening to Serial, like all these podcasts that have come out and are just, a lot of them are very different. So I decided to approach this one in a completely new way and try to make them, more succinct, more storytelling. And they're definitely my biggest labor of love so far. I'm very nervous. I was very nervous when I launched this new podcast.
Launching a podcast as a guy who has launched over a dozen podcasts, because I like back when I was doing the Zomcast, I was probably hosting like 5 to 7 shows at once.
Oh my God, how do you do that? I can hardly, I'm still editing the podcast that I have to post tomorrow.
I stopped, obviously. Like now I do this, and the Zomcast came back with a different co-host that we do on a like irregular basis. And it is like, even this, like the show, like everything is awesome. I have 2 episodes that I need to edit, and my editing process, the beautiful thing about doing a show where I sit down and I talk, and we used to live stream on Stickcam and whatnot, is that my mindset is, well, I say it's out there as long as no one else has a problem with whatever was said. Like, as long as it sounds good in the editing, then we're good. That's what's going up. I'm not a big editor because I come from that. Yeah. Like in the 10 years or so that I've been podcasting, I did live streaming for probably at least half of it, if not more. So, like, I'm just trained to not care about editing.
See, like, I admire that with a lot of podcasts, like, people that just can record and then post it and be like, I'm fine with everything. Like, I'm way too OCD, and I'm way too much of a editor and I guess filmmaker, because I go through every interview that I do at least 4 times. My problem is that I just can't listen to myself that many times, because I tried to do that. I tried to do, because obviously this is happening now, and then I would listen to the whole thing in the editing, and then like in the very beginning of the show, I would also I would just then edit and then have the final one out there, listen to it again before I posted it to the internet, and then I would listen to it again after I downloaded it to my phone. And I just cannot listen to my own voice anymore. Like, it's awful. Oh, see, I love the sound of my voice. I haven't, like with the Pincushion, I used to listen to it the day I posted it, just like getting ready or something. I don't listen to this one. Like, I don't want to download it. I don't want to know, because I don't want to take it away any downloads, because I'm tracking everything. But like, I don't want to see it. I don't want to listen. I just want to see if people like it. Like, it's weird. And the older I get, like, I guess the more self-conscious I am about the stuff I create.
I can't listen to my voice. That's what it comes down. So that's like, that helps it now. But it's, I don't even know if it's that I hate the sound of my voice. It's just that, like, oh God, won't he just shut up for 5 minutes and let someone else talk? Because I'm a bit like, so I like to relate myself to like the love child of Kevin Smith and Chris Hardwick, because like I talk a lot. Okay. I have an interest in film that is like the complete opposite of you. Like, I figured it out at 28 years old, is that I was like, you know what, I want to make a movie one day, which is like more like the Kevin Smith route. Like, he kind of figured it out late in life, but like I talk all the time, and like I'll listen. Like, that's my problem listening back. I'll listen back to this when I edit it. I'll be like, well, I should have shut up for a couple of minutes here and there and just let it go. But that's the main reason. I talk too much. That's why I don't like to edit. But like, there's also other projects that I do.
Oh.
Yeah.
But it's podcasting.
Yeah.
With podcasting.
And there's other projects that I've been
Everybody
involved
talks.
with, like that are audio that I have edited heavily because it's just, you need to. It depends on the project, I think. This one is a very loose project, so.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yes.
Loose is easy. Those are nice. I don't understand those people that do those audio dramas.
And that's
it's so
something
much
that I'm
time.
so like
It's a
desperate
lot.
to do. Like, I would love to do like an old timey radio drama, but it's so much work.
Yeah,
Like
you should do it.
I actually have a friend who's starting to produce one, and like I'm like kind of like I'm getting involved with it just so that I can see the process. Because it's like I've written for for like a short or for like a web series or even like a couple scenes for a flick, but like I have yet to be able to translate that to like writing for an audio drama yet. I can't flip that switch in my brain because I'm so much. Not that I'm an I want to. So this is something we can transition to. I want to improv is something that I discovered like I kind of want to do late in life as well. Like I want to go and take some classes at FIT at some point. What because you're doing improv, you said, right? So
Yes. I'm at UCB. You should go to UCB.
I don't
People
have that
commute
I don't
from
have that
Philly to
time at
UCB all the time.
yeah.
Yeah, you have children.
and that's why
That's
like
really tough.
like FIT I can I can take a couple hours of one night a week and go do. I feel like going.
There are some great people.
I don't like. I literally know nothing
so.
about it, save for like like I've talked to a couple people who, that were originally from here and they're out in L.A. or they're out in like I've talked to some Chicago improvers, and it's just like everyone has the same thing. Like you just go take some classes, you'll have a good time doing it. And like for me, it's all about like that's gonna help me do this better. Is because.
Mm-hmm. No, it actually does. Improv helps with everything. It helps with my stand-up. It helps with my writer's block. And it's just, it's a creative exercise that helps you interact with other people and collaborate with them. It's really, I as soon as I knew that I wanted to be an actor on a set, I knew that I had to get into improv classes because I knew it would help in so many different ways. And it has. It's a really good
that you said
investment.
that it helps you to stand up because I don't know I don't know if you know Garrett Smith. He was part like of the Philadelphia Podcast Festival the very first year, and I know you were part of it that year as well.
That name rings a bell. It really does.
Yeah.
I have a really bad memory.
He does the
sorry.
podcast I Like to Movie, and I think they had just started.
Yes, I like to movie. I like to movie. Oh fuck yes, I know that one. We saw The Exorcist
There you
together.
go.
See, I remember.
So I had a discussion with him one time about it because he did stand up, and like he's like of the mindset he's like don't pay for to go learn how to tell jokes. Like they're like it's
Well, stand-up classes are a lot different than improv classes, and a lot of the stand-up comedians that I do talk to do say that stand-up classes aren't as worth of an investment as improv are, which is true because improv is like it's like a sport that you learn, but with stand-up you can't work your material by yourself at a desk. You have to go out and you have to stand in front of an audience that's less than enthusiastic, and if they laugh then you know that.
Yeah, but I remember like there's like seems like there's a war like for like stand-up comedians and improvers. Like it's
Oh yeah, there definitely is. Yeah, they hate each other, and I'm just like whatever. I'm like Switzerland. I'm like the hippie. I just want to be cool with everybody. I just want to be accepted, really.
You know, someone asked me, he's like, would you like do stand up? I'm like, well, here's my problem with doing stand up. A, I have to write and prepare something, and then I have to memorize it. Like that's going to go over terribly. B, like I'm going to be up there by myself. Like that's the big thing is with improv.
You don't necessarily have to
that's
memorize
valid.
anything.
That's valid. But you know, it's still like for me, it's like so when I started doing this show live for the Podcast Fest 2 years ago, I talked to my buddy. I was like, "There's no way I can go and do this show by myself because I'm too much of a pansy. So I need you to be my co-host for the show." So we flipped it into like a late night talk show experience when we do our show live, and like I'm good there. So the first live show that we did at the Philadelphia Podcast Fest in 2016.
Oh, fun! I didn't go. That was like the one I didn't go to.
I don't think you went to 2017 either, because yes.
No.
Yeah,
I
we've
guess
been
it is
doing the live
2017,
shows,
isn't it?
and like the purpose of me doing live shows is more so to try to get like the podcasting medium as like a regular thing happening in Philly, because it's not, and I feel like it should, because there's 70 shows or 60 some shows in the festival this year. Yeah, and it's.
Mm-hmm. Oh, awesome. Yeah, podcasting's pretty big in Philly. There's a lot of good podcasters.
But
there's like Tim Marie. Tim
I
Marie's
think
great.
she's one of the few that does do the live shows, but there's not many. Like there's the
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, man. I did the live shows at Filmmaker, and I did one at Tattooed Mom. I don't know. Maybe it's me, but it's hard to get people to leave their house.
It absolutely is.
Like,
but like I don't know if New York can do it and LA can do it. I feel like, and Chicago, like I feel like Philly should be able to do it, especially since like I don't know the amount of talent that I've seen go. Like I worked the festival this weekend as well. I volunteered to manage the Tattooed Mom location, which is my favorite spot in Philly to host a podcast.
It's Tattooed Mom's my favorite place in Philly. Period.
Oh yeah, it's probably I don't know. I really like Manioc, and I really like I think it's called the Garage in Manioc. It's I like that, but again, that's where my uncle was from. He lived there for quite a few, so I have a lot of special memories. Bike Race Sunday is my favorite Sunday of all summer. But anyway, yeah, Tattooed Mom is it is one of my, if not favorite spots in the city.
I took a picture of the Tattooed Mom sign at one of the zombie crawls, like in my early 20s, and I printed it out on a canvas, and it's like hanging up in my house because I'm like, I miss my Tattooed Mom.
So like creator friendly. Like we held our 1 year anniversary show there. We did like a little mini festival. We had 4 other shows on the event, and we got Fuck Cancer involved to raise money for that.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, it was just like they're so kind, really laid back, like to work with and whatnot, and just like a cool hangout and a slamming breakfast burrito. Like it's just.
Yes,
I never make it that far. It's usually I fill up on the breakfast burrito is huge. First of all, then I usually have tater tots halfway through the day. Like if I'm running a show there, oh god.
Yes, the tater tots. I still have my Tattooed Mom chips. I have chips that if you're cool and people and they like you there, you get Tattooed Mom chips and you get discounts. See, perks, guys. Somebody actually that I worked with today, her brother said that he moved to Philadelphia, and I was like, do you know where the best cheesesteaks is? Do you know where the best cheesesteak is?
I don't know. I don't know. I when I go to the city, I like to go to Pat's. Where's in the but see when I'm.
The correct answer is
I've heard a lot of
on
people
South
say that.
Street. That is the only cheesesteak you need. If somebody says if someone says, "Oh, I gotta go to Pat's or Gino's," it'd be like, you don't know anything. So I gave the brother the tip.
I'm
so now
I'm
he's
the
gonna
guy
be like a real Philadelphian.
I've had Pat's, I've had Gino's, I have not had Jim's.
Have you had Jim's? Oh my God! This weekend, you guys, it's right down the street from Tattooed Mom's. That's why I said
so. I live in
Jim's
Bucks
is, like,
County,
the best.
so I'm like, when I go down to the city, it's usually for the podcast fest. It's I don't go down often.
Isn't there a gym? There's a Jim's in the suburbs, though.
You're right. I don't know where, but now that you say that, I go to Steve's in the suburbs.
Steve.
I
What
think
is- I don't even
he's
know what
related to
Steve's
Pat.
is.
He's the. If it might be them just selling me a story, but he's the Prince of cheesesteaks.
Oh, he's a prince. Next, we're gonna have like a knight and a joker of cheesesteak.
Not expecting to go into cheesesteak conversation, but
Hey, with me, like, look, I'm in New York. I'm in fucking New York,
God.
and they have things called Philly cheesesteaks that are disgusting. I saw one on a garlic baguette once, and I was like, fuck you. I was walking down the street, Times Square, and someone held a sign that says Philly cheesesteak quesadillas, and I was like,
so
what the hell
I used to
is
travel
that?
for work, like I don't know, we'll say 10 years ago. That sounds about right. And so everywhere that I would go, like if I saw someone advertising a Philly cheesesteak, I'd say, all right, let me try this. And I went somewhere I have two stories, one terrible, one decent. I went to somewhere in New York. It may have been Long Island, and I was like, yeah, let me get a cheesesteak. And they literally bring out on a long roll, like steak with cheese melted on it, and I'm like, what? What is this?
Oh, God.
They're like, well, we just put steak on bread. I'm like, no. What the fuck? So that I just like, can you just bring me a cheeseburger?
No.
Like, I can't eat this. This is awful.
They put green peppers on it up here. I'm like, who asked for these green peppers? I didn't ask for these
that
green
was
peppers.
a place out in L.A. I went to their I forget what their amphitheater is out there, but their equivalent to Tweeter Center or whatever it's called now. I did an install out there, and the manager was like, "Oh, you're from Philly? There's a vendor here that does Philly cheesesteaks. They're great. They're even better than Philly." I'm like, "That's impossible." Like,
Yeah, I would have been like, no, they're not.
They did
This
ship
person's
in
a liar.
the rolls from Philly, and it was as close as you can get to a Philly cheesesteak without being a Philly cheesesteak. It wasn't. It was acceptable. But I said it's not Philly. Like it's a cheesesteak. It's a good cheesesteak, but it's not Philly. Yeah.
It's okay. It's not. I mean, it's cheesesteaks. I often talk about cheesesteaks with people because I miss them. And the first thing I do when I get in PA is I go to either Wawa or I get myself a chicken cheesesteaks. I'm gonna confess, I like the chicken more than the beef cheesesteaks. They're a little healthier. I like to tell myself.
Cheese is slathered on that.
I had a friend that came over from the UK, and we took him to get a cheesesteak, and he ate half of it. He's like, "How do you people eat this?" It's so.
There's actually this Saturday
freedom.
at the bank. There is a cheesesteak festival that I'm going to. So. Oh God!
Have a
all the
cheesesteak for me.
I don't know what.
Me.
It was a birthday present that my fiance got me, and we are 100%
cool.
going. And we were going to bring the kids, but her mom wants to take them to the zoo. And I was like, all right, well now it's like we have to pay like an extra $20 to get into the beer garden and just drink beer all day too. So I was like, all right, let's 100% have a completely unhealthy day, which is pretty much every day for me anyway. I haven't been on a health kick, but oh God, I'm so excited for
treat
cheesesteak.
yourself. But that sounds good. I wish I was going to a cheesesteak
I
festival.
can't imagine living somewhere that doesn't have good cheesesteaks. Not that
Granted, there's a lot of good food in New York City, but like when I'm having a stressful day and like I'm really hungry and it's lunchtime, like I'm just like, oh, I wish I could just go get a chicken cheesesteak, but I can't.
Not even a Wawa hoagie. You can't even go get Wawa iced tea.
No, I can't go get like one of those Wawa salads when I'm running really low. And it sucks. Today, I was working outside all day, and we were going to take a lunch break, and I was just like, I wish I could just go to Wawa.
So,
I can't.
are you familiar with Sheetz as well? Okay. Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm actually in a Sheetz commercial.
I used to do like work for them. That's nuts. I used to do work for them.
Sheetz.
That was one of the places that I would travel to, and like they would hook up free food and whatnot. And
cool. Yeah, they have the Schmiskit. When I had the audition, the director was like, she really needs to know how to say Schmiskit. And I was like, I don't know what a Schmiskit is. And they're like, it's not Schmiskit, it's Schmiskit. And I was like, okay. And I couldn't get the part unless I could say Schmiskit, which I can. Yeah. Directors are fucking nuts,
on,
just so you know.
On Wawa or Sheets?
Fucking Wawa all the way. I am a ride
agree,
or die.
When I go somewhere that there's a Sheets, I 100%, like if I'm in Sheets territory, I seek out a Sheets because I enjoy Sheets. I don't think
well, yeah. I mean, if you're in Sheets territory and there's not a Wawa to be found,
I don't know. See,
yes, I'll settle for Sheets.
They're almost equal to me. Like they're just. I like. Here's the thing. Here's what they do different. That's true.
Wait until you live without Wawa.
Here's what I think Sheets does differently, and I think Wawa has started to do. I think they is like so. When I was first introduced to Sheets, they were like their big thing is like we make our bread on site. Wawa doesn't, which was true at that time. Like Wawa, like they had they brought it in from somewhere else, or it was somewhere in Philly, but it wasn't home. It wasn't built it wasn't made. Yeah, baked. That's the word. It wasn't baked on site. Now it is.
Yeah.
They built it.
That's what they do with
but
bread.
now Wawa does.
Go.
But I still think the Sheets bread is like fluffier and softer, and I don't know. There's something about their bread that I really like. That's what gets me is their bread.
Well, like when I go to the mountains sometimes with my friends, like there's Sheets there, and I'm like, yeah, I'll get some Sheets. I mean, they paid me once when I was in a commercial, so. Sometimes, but I have to go in with sunglasses because I don't want to be recognized.
Girl.
In Sheets,
how long ago was that commercial?
So long ago, and they gave me they thought I had tattoos because I guess I'm edgy, and people were like, "Oh yeah, she has tattoos," and I showed up on set and I was like, "No," I told them I was like, "No, I don't have tattoos," but they hired one of my friends, Lauren Palmer, who's a great special effects makeup artist. So 2 makeup artists just painted tattoos on my arm, and I looked really cool. My boyfriend was like, "You should get tattoos," and I was like, "No, I'll just paint them on from now on."
See, I love tattoos, so I would need to not have one of those would be weird for me. I
know I do. I love tattoos. I think they're great. I don't know. I don't know if I could ever get a sleeve, like an entire sleeve. I like having little ones. I have a little one on my wrist. Awesome. I want to get a TARDIS somewhere on me.
I have Wolverine on the back of my leg, shredding through my skin. I have. I used to wrestle, so the company that we created and wrestled under, I have the logo tattooed on my arm, and then on my other arm, I have Cap's shield, and the arm that I have Cap's shield, I to this day I still just want to get it like a full on comic book sleeve, but kids cost money, so my money doesn't get to. Yeah. So,
they have to.
But it's that's one of and I say this. I'm 33 now. I'm hoping that before I hit 50, I have my sleeve done. We'll see, but.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Once those kids are in high school or college, that's tattoo fund.
Yeah,
you don't need to feed them.
Hopefully I don't have to
They have
feed
an
them
allowance.
We'll see
they have a
how
job.
that goes.
No, you'll have to feed them. But you could
easily,
they could get lunch on their own, I guess, with their
hopefully,
friends.
Hopefully
if
they're
they
not
have friends.
living here all day.
I'm sure they'll have friends.
My son's shy and my daughter's the devil, so we will see how that goes.
I'm sure all fathers think that their daughters are the devil. I'm sure my dad thinks I'm the devil sometimes.
So I found out today that my daughter has been getting in trouble for a while now at the babysitter, who loves her. The babysitter loves her. Took her out on a date night the other night. They just went out and had a girls' night. And but for the last week or two, she's just literally been hitting all the babies. And I'm like, wait, what? How am I just finding out about this now? And why is she hitting babies?
What?
What are we doing wrong?
A baby hitter. Maybe she saw it on TV.
She watches Julius Jr., which I can't even begin to explain what that is. It's awful.
I don't know
it's one of those.
It doesn't sound
when
fun.
we were kids, we had Rugrats.
My friend has a 2-year-old, and the 2-year-old loves Thomas the Tank Engine.
Yeah,
He's
still around.
He's still around. The funniest thing about it is the kid can't say Parsi. Parsi is his favorite character, but he doesn't say Parsi properly, so we make him say things like Parsi grabber or something like that.
The greatest thing I've done as a father is I've started to gear my son, who's 5, towards like proper like nerd culture shows and movies. Like, we've sat down, we've watched most of Star Wars. He can get into that, and
that's good. Yeah, see, at 2, you can't really condition your child yet.
Yeah.
You just got to be like,
now,
yeah, sure, whatever
5
you want to watch.
And, like,
it's great. Have
he's
fun.
into the idea of the Pirates movie. We watched the first one. So I'm starting to get. I want to get him into Indiana Jones, but I'm just kind of thinking back to Indiana Jones and like the melting of faces, and I was like, that's definitely, like, my son is like, he gets scared pretty easily. I was like,
oh, I remember that. I was a scared kid. Like, as much as I love horror movies and stuff, like, everything scared me. And that scene used to freaking me. Like, oh, I used to like be so scared. That and the scene in Pee-wee's Big Adventure, 2 of the scenes. I used to have to leave the room. I was so scared. The T-Rex scene where he eats the bicycle, I was not having it.
Oh, that's
and the
acceptable.
scene with the clown
You don't wanna
doctors,
see
like
clowns.
that like messed with me for years. Like, I didn't see the original It before.
Yeah,
I haven't seen the original It because I'm so scared of clowns.
I
but
wanna
the
go
new
see
movie, I've
that.
seen it. It's great.
I
P.S. Go see it.
Yeah, that looks amazing.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's awesome.
But yeah, the clown doctors that did the operation on the bike, that was terrifying.
The
Like,
movie that stands out to
terrifying.
me as the movie I should not have been scared of as a kid, but I was Beetlejuice. And I mean, I love that to this day.
I loved Beetlejuice.
What I remember is that I think we were, if I remember watching it where we watched it, I was under the age of 6. I was 6 or under. So like, I was in first grade, maybe tops, and I just remember the scene where he turns into a snake. This is probably where my fear of snakes comes from. And he was on the banister turned into a snake, and it was him, and it was the most horrifying thing you can show. Yeah,
We got your daughter,
I think a horrifying
kid.
thing to show
Yeah.
your child at 6. So
I loved it. I loved
yeah.
every second of that movie. It's weird, the things that freaked me out and the things that didn't freak me out when I was a kid. I guess like Tremors. I
loved.
was so upset about the idea of something. The idea of something sucking me into the ground. Like, I was like, I love Kevin Bacon. I still love Kevin Bacon. I could not get me through that movie. I was very
the co-host
scared
that I
the
have
whole
for
time.
the current edition of the Zomcast we did I think it was like a top 5 childhood horror movie list. And which was weird, like it had to be something that we watched basically. Like, I was born in '84, so it could have been something that was out in '84 up until 2002 when I graduated high school. It had to be in that time frame, and it was
Really, high school movies?
No,
I don't think high school movies
but for me,
scar
like,
you
so
that much.
my favorite horror movie of all time, and this is saying as someone who, like, I've just watched The Thing for the first time this year. Yeah. It is good.
So
It's
good.
it's funny though, because after like watching it, like, I've seen that story told elsewhere. So like seeing it, like, I think. Like, not seeing it 10 years ago or even 15 years ago.
Do you want me to tell you a
let's hear
cool
it.
makeup fact about that movie? The chest busting scene. You can go onto YouTube and you can find a really cool video where they break down how they did it. But it took them 5 hours to set that scene up, and they did one take. And he was like,
Oh my
"Can you
God.
do it again?" And they took another 5 hours. And they did a second take, and he was happy with it. So, that's why practical effects aren't used as much. But to have the patience and to want to take the time to do something like physically and shoot it on camera, like, that is a lost art, and that is something that makes
that's what,
great
like,
movies
the-
like that.
Not
movie.
horror at all, but like Force Awakens, for instance. Like, the reason that like the reason that hit home with everyone so much is that it was practical. It looked like Star Wars. It didn't look like a CGI fest like the other movies that Lucas did.
All the other movies. I'm not anti CGI. I just think that
Absolutely.
it should be used.
It's
with
definitely like when it's used to
mostly.
enhance. It's used like in I guess like Marvel, the way they tend to use it for like the Hulk. Like that makes like that's a great use of CGI as long as they're still incorporating the practical effects. I agree. I'm a big practical effects person as well. It's like, it's what makes, and one of my childhood horror movies that made the list was the Evil Dead series. Like that's what makes the Evil Dead movies. Yeah, they're like I was about to say Scream is my favorite horror, and I think it is. I think Scream is my favorite horror movie. I think so. It's I don't know. It's
a good movie. It is a good movie. It's just like it's a parody of the whole genre. I do love that film. That was like one of the first movies that I rented with my family on a vacation in a hotel room, and my dad was not happy about the opening
It's the
scene.
movie that like really jump started me into watching horror movies. Like before Scream, whenever I would Jason came on or Freddy, like I would just walk out of the room or turn it off. Like I wasn't really big into horror until that came out. I guess I was probably in middle school or junior high or something like that is when Scream came out. So it was the movie that like kind of jump started me into like appreciating horror, and then like that eventually led me to the Evil Dead.
Yeah, I mean, at that time, Scream really brought horror back into the mainstream. It was like huge. It was a huge movie. There were
there's four movies total. There's and the fourth one came out within the last like 5 years or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it was like the equivalent of like Halloween, which is coming out with a new movie in 2018.
So the fun thing that we do on the Zombcast is we do this movie challenge thing where like I challenge him to a movie he hasn't seen, and he challenges me to a movie I haven't seen. And I've seen the Rob Zombie Halloween. I know, sacrilegious. I have not seen the original Halloween. Oh, okay.
Hey, I love Rob Zombie. I love that version. And everyone can like call me names or whatever. Like, I don't love it more than the original. Like, I love it as a standalone piece. I
think I watched both of his. I remember
Zombie.
enjoying the first one. I don't really have much memories of the second one.
I blocked out the second one. Sorry, Rob. I was just like, this didn't happen. I don't like it. But the first one, I remember seeing the first one in theaters, and I was like, yeah, that was good. Devil's Rejects is his best
Is that his
work,
first one,
I would say.
or is that his second one? Okay. Yes.
Second,
I
because
like
it was
both
a
those
sequel
movies.
to House of a Thousand Corpses, which I do. I love House of a Thousand Corpses because it's like campy, gory horror. And
I love like in
really
October. I try to watch
it.
as many Netflix B horror movies as I can because it's just all so good. Like I love campy horror movie.
Yeah. Have you watched Little Evil yet on Netflix? Oh my god, I just finished it. It's Adam Scott stars in it, and it's a parody of like the Omen genre, the like weird child. It's really good. I highly
just
recommend
watched
it.
within the last like week or two the Train to Busan. It's subtitled. It's a foreign flick, but it's actually like if you like zombie.
I'm okay with foreign
honestly,
flicks,
probably the
right?
first one I've watched from start to finish. I'm not like
really. Foreign films are so good. I can give you
if
a
it's as
foreign
good
film that you should
as
check
this,
out.
like it's like my dream movie almost. Like it's a zombie. The zombie apocalypse breaks out when you're in some sort of like motion, like they're on a train obviously, so like that, or like on a plane, like that kind of concept is neat to me. And it's just I can't wait till they make an American version because I want to be able to like listen and not read and I still enjoy the movie while reading. I just feel like I can watch that movie. I've watched it with reading now.
Here's the thing, man.
If it has subtitles,
Have you seen
no, we've
Ringu?
established that I don't. This is the first movie I've watched.
If you watch Ringu and then you watch The Ring, you'll be like, I think the original is good. I mean, I love Korean horror. Like, A Tale of Two Sisters is one of my favorite films ever made. And to be able to watch a director from another country do something, you see things that are different from the way Hollywood does it. A lot of Asian horror, they don't show everything, which is great, and they show like a little bit, and they leave it to your imagination. And if you just watch stuff that's churned out by American filmmakers and Hollywood, you're not gonna get as much good stuff.
Yeah, and that's
there's
something
a ton
that
of
I've
great
heard
stuff all over
echoed.
the
And
world.
like as I start to like watch more and more horror movies and whatnot, like that's something I've definitely heard echoed.
I think it's on. I don't remember the name of the director, but The Host is on Netflix. It's a Korean horror. It's a little creature feature that's really good. That'd be a good start for you. I think you would like it.
Okay.
So there, I would say watch The Host. I'm giving you all kinds of
thank you.
great tips here.
Well, so while we're on the
I'm flexing my film degree.
Do you think it's worth getting a film degree? And this is like an honest, like as a college dropout, this is an honest question.
Bucks
County Community College.
Where you dropped out from? Okay, I went to LaSalle and LaSalle University. When I say I studied film, it was more like critical approaches to film, which it was great. Like I did really well in it. I liked my teacher, Bill Wine, who is also the KYW film critic. He's really cool. But I don't know. I feel like as an artist, you always have to. Like me taking classes at UCB right now is a way for me to hone my craft. You can't go out into the creative world thinking that you know everything. But as far as film school, I would say PA, be a production assistant for a little bit and see what you like, and then go to school and focus on what you really like. Going to LaSalle's gonna hate me for saying this, but going to school at 18, right out of high school, like you don't know what the hell you're doing. You don't know who you are. And I went to LaSalle because it was. I mean, I was accepted there. Thanks for accepting me. And I did. I had a good time, and I learned time management. I produced my own TV show called Lampoonery News, which is like the Daily Show meets Weekend Update, like LaSalle style. So I really started a lot of my creative stuff while I was there, but I also had like a liberal arts education. I couldn't tell you anything else I learned other than like my film classes. And I spent my parents spent a lot of money to get me through school. So thanks, parents, for helping me out there.
This issue I have with school is like, and like I won't say with film school because I didn't figure that out until about 5 years ago. I was like, I think I want to like figure out how to do that. And again, I want to kind of go the Kevin Smith approach and just kind of wing it. But the like. My dad strongly suggested I go for teaching, and I was like, I guess I get summers off, and hated that semester of school, and to the point where like I just stopped showing up because I didn't want to be a teacher.
Yeah. I minored in teaching, and that was terrible. Terrible. They were teaching me how to use a projector. Like the little glass thing that you use to like write on with a marker. I'm like, this was 2005, 2006. I was like, are you kidding me? No one has a laptop. None of you teachers
my fiance
have a
is a
laptop.
teacher, and like she's a teacher.
Do they
in
have
the
technology
city.
now?
Yeah, you know what? She has like the school gives her a MacBook, so yeah. But like that's
good. That's good.
That's about all. Like everything else is supplied by her. So, but yeah, but that my son just entered kindergarten, and this is the flip of the city school versus the suburb school. It's like we all of Pennsbury is a 1-to-1. Take Chromebook home with you from like 6th grade and up, and our school specifically is they don't get to take it home, but 4th and 5th graders are a 1-to-1 in the classroom. And it's like, wow, it's complete opposite of the city schools is the technology experience that these kids are getting, which is sad. I mean, really.
Yeah.
Yeah,
everybody deserves internet
I think
access.
My fiance's classroom, I think, has 3 like iMacs, and I think they actually just got they rotated down a couple MacBooks that are older, so there's a couple laptops that are floating in there, so they're starting to get it down in the city, but the technology is kind of flowing in for schools now. Well, at least for city schools now. I think suburbs have had it for. I mean, I think Pennsbury, the school I went to, has had it since I was there. Like my 4 years of high school. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying my high school had laptops too. It's just I don't know.
Oh yeah.
I felt like learning how to teach kids. I wasn't.
Yeah, and then I went to school for technology,
and
I realized that I could just do it better. So I got a job in technology and dropped out.
Well, what I do for money, like I'm a filmmaker, I'm a comedian, but that doesn't feed me. I do social media management, and I had 9-to-5 jobs for years, and I would be like doing 6 jobs at once, but I would also be in charge of social media. And I was like, I'm kind of good at this social media stuff. I don't need a full-time job. And I got laid off and then I was like 25, 26. And I started freelancing as a social media manager. And it's just like, oh, here's a skill that I have. And I could do this completely away from a corporate life. So, yeah, like some of the stuff that happens in corporate life, is totally unnecessary.
Yep. That's
like meetings.
That's my life is meetings.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm giving you like. I'm not going to work tomorrow. Do you have
I don't have
any
meetings tomorrow. Not yet. They might creep up, but I shouldn't complain because like when there's not meetings, I I read a comic book today at some point during my work day, so I get some downtime. So it's I as long as I get my work done, that's all that matters.
Yeah, that's all you gotta do when you're downtime. You should be writing scripts.
Today was so I started writing for this for the Dark Knight News .com. It's a Batman fan website. So I was working still, just not the job that I get paid for, and not the thing that I want to do. But I do. That's something that I'll do at lunch. Is I tend to write little shorts and whatnot. And I think I finally convinced my partner to actually start filming them in the next couple months. So.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
It's hard to be a filmmaker. It's hard to be a director, especially as a woman.
That could be another hour conversation, because I agree. I've talked. Yeah. I mean, Garrett, who we mentioned earlier, is like very pro, more female filmmakers, and we've talked to Casey Spivey she's an actress out in LA, and she, I was lucky enough to talk to her right before Wonder Woman came out. So I actually, after Wonder Woman came out, we sat down and talked to her and Garrett again because it seemed like the appropriate people to sit down and have a conversation with about that movie because of what I think it's hopefully going to do for, female-driven film.
Yeah, I hope. I mean, I saw it. It was great. It was fun.
Yeah. Oh well. Yeah. I mean, it's not gonna.
It's still hard.
Unfortunately, it's something. Yeah. Unfortunately, it's not gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen overnight.
Happen overnight.
I mean, I was listening to NPR this morning, and they were talking about the Emmys, and they're like, "Great time for women in the entertainment. It is a wonderful time for women in entertainment." And I'm like, "No, it's not."
Well,
it still
before, because I wanted to transition to this when we were talking about horror, but there's no good way to do it now except for the fact that you are a woman who is in entertainment, who is trying to do something. So,
and
Yeah.
Who I'm trying to write and direct my own web
Yeah,
series,
it's-
so they know, like
it's-
every actor does.
I'm actually surprised that we don't have, and I guess we do. It's just in the form of Netflix and Hulu now. Is all this like, where like all the fun, interesting ideas are happening in new media. I think, and I guess you can kind of include the streaming services in there.
Well, The Handmaid's Tale won an Emmy last night. It's the first for a streaming service, which is awesome.
I think
Congratulations, Hulu. That's great.
Because I love the Netflix and Hulu and the Amazon models. Like it's.
I like that you put the in front of everything. I love the Amazon and the Netflix. So good. Sometimes I stream the Hulu to watch The Handmaid's Tale.
As I get older, I turn into an old Jewish woman. It's happening.
Italian women do that too. They call things. I had a boyfriend that had a mother that called it the Best Buys.
I called it. I've called it the Circuit Cities when
Sometimes.
that was around, but that's. So yeah, what's your web series that you're funding?
My web series is called Mezza Morta, which is Italian for half dead, and she is a Frankenstein-like monster that was created by two Russian scientists in an attempt to infiltrate YouTube and influence the American public. I got that.
That
down,
was like
so
it didn't even
well.
sound like you were reading it. Like it was like perfect.
No, it's like ingrained in me at this point because I've said it so many times.
I had more questions when I first got your email. I was like, I have a couple of questions about this, but then I read it, and then I we scheduled the interview for a week later. But my main question is, how does this idea happen?
Okay. No, I'm trying to do this as much without like any spoilers, but like we already mentioned it earlier. 2016 happened. Like, both like it's a reflection of the world that's surrounding me, and also a reflection of, this is gonna sound so artsy and pretentious, but like myself and my life, and how I feel like Jo Pincushion kind of turned into this thing where everybody just wanted me to be like little parts of something, whether it be like the lead singer of a punk rock band, or a sex and relationship advice person on a podcast, or a horror person that doing a web series on a Scrapple TV. Like I really feel like I wasn't being who I was. So Mezza Morta is just like, oh, here's what I felt like for the past 5 years. And at the same time, it's just a regurgitation of everything that I'm seeing on the internet, whether it be Tommy Lahren yelling about snowflakes, or Black Bloc and all the violence and all the terrible stuff that happens in Charlottesville. Like it's everything that's just like shaken up in my brain and regurgitated. I love Young Frankenstein and Invader Zim, and those are two big inspirations that are pulled from this. And I don't know if you saw that or if you read that, but I'm trying to be funny and
definitely
poetic at the
Young
same time,
Frankenstein.
I guess.
Invader Zim, my memory of that seems to be like a video game, and I don't know if that's the same thing.
Invader Zim was created by John Vasquez. I don't even know if I said his name right, which I'm a terrible fan. But it was like on Nickelodeon when I was in high school, and it's like an alien that comes to Earth, and he tries to conquer Earth, and he has a little robot named Gurr, and Gurr just like messes stuff up all the time, and it's like the best show ever. Kids still watch it. They still sell the stuff at Hot Topic. So yeah, I got that demographic in my mind. I love
weird,
Hot Topic kids.
like,
They're my favorite kids.
Especially in new media, I don't know, at least I don't track my audience as well as I used to, mainly because we don't live stream anymore. But like it was 10 years ago, it was all teenagers, and I don't know that the audience grows with me. Like I don't know if it's and maybe there are adults out there listening to this. If so, thank you for checking out a podcast. I'm sure your kid told you what it was. So, yeah.
Yeah, there are adults that listen to podcasts now. Everybody does it. It's like the new.
It's the only thing I have on. I never listen to anything. The only time I listen to music in the car is when the kids are say we want to listen to Anna and Elsa, and I have to put on Frozen soundtrack for the car ride. And luckily, it's
that
catchy
sucks.
tunes.
I love children, but I'm so happy that I am not a parent at this time because, like, you guys,
it could
more
be
power to
like
you with all the Frozen.
Barney or other like. It just could be. There's a lot of crappy kid things that are annoying. So like, it could have been Teletubbies. Like, I could have been stuck with kids that watch Teletubbies and Barney and like just crap. Like and.
You should show your kids Young Frankenstein. That's what I used to watch as a kid, and I loved it. I have a memory of me at like maybe 2 or 3 years old, and my mom had a babysitter, and she's like, "Just put this on," and the babysitter's like, "Won't she be scared of this?" And they're like, "No, she loves it. It's her favorite movie." There's a video of me at like 4 in the bathtub, and I have like my chin on the side of the bathtub, and I'm going, "I ain't got nobody," and nobody cares. Well, I love Mel Brooks. He's like one of my heroes, like, and Rob Zombie. So I'm hoping that like I have a really great special effects team, and that's a big part of this thing. It gets really gory, and I want to be like Mel Brooks meets Rob Zombie at some point.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to say this without spoiling anything. In reference to the gore that you have written, like it instantly kind of reminds me of like the Evil Dead kind of like not Evil Dead 1, but probably more so Evil Dead 2, like the.
Oh yeah, I fucking love that. I love everything that Bruce Campbell did in that movie. I love all the camera angles that Sam Raimi does.
What do you think of? Because we had this discussion on one of my shows about the remake of Evil Dead. No. The movie that came out a couple years ago with that.
I saw that and I was like, pass. Like, I mean, I think. I watched it. I liked that she was like.
No, you can.
I don't know if I should spoil anything, but I liked the circumstances that they put her in, the realistic circumstances. But I was just like, they could have just made a different movie and not called it Evil Dead. Like that's the thing that pisses me off about a lot of remakes is like in the Ghostbusters movie. Why couldn't it have been just a bunch of kick-ass ladies hunting ghosts? Why does it have to be the Ghostbusters with
So
females?
I had a couple issues with that movie. The quality being one of them, obviously, but
I was not a fan. I love everyone in that. I love all the women in that, but when
they first announced it, one of my things was like, listen, like I'm all for like having something that is like a powerful, movie or something that's like made for women. But like, if you're going to have a Ghostbusters franchise, like if you're trying to be like, I guess more modern, like how about you cast 4 people that are good for the role? Like I think, and they ended up all being really funny, but at the time I only knew Kristen Wiig and Melissa McCarthy.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, well, like that, like I agree with that, but like, why don't you find, like, it doesn't have to be, maybe it is going to be 2 guys, or maybe it's going to be 1 guy or whatever. Like just find the 4 best people for it. And do we really have to have the token black person? Like that bothered me. Like once I got over the fact that like, all right, this is going to be we're just going to do the complete opposite to be different. Then it was like, all right, well,
it wasn't like the complete opposite, just like a different gender, less of a captivating story. Like Leslie Jones was great in that movie, and she was great. Like it's like me saying like, oh man, I can't wait for them to do the female remake of 12 Angry Men. That's gonna be really great. Like what's the fucking point of that?
Like if they made it where it wasn't 3 white girls and 1 black girl, like if they maybe had like an Asian or just if they mixed it up, I think I would have been a lot less angry about the casting of that movie and how they went about casting it.
You know what made me the most angry about that movie?
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't really like the special effects. They didn't hold up. They did not hold up. Like the librarian in the first one it still holds up.
So watching Ghostbusters, the new Ghostbusters movie, it's not a good movie, but it's like it's watchable to a point. Like I can.
It's not Ghostbusters. It's not terrible.
Yeah.
There's our review. It should be named, like, I would love it if it was called something else.
Well, yeah,
or if
and
it was like out of
if
the universe.
they would have,
like,
my other thing with it was there's no reason that it could not have been part of, like, it could have been a third movie in the established universe. There's no reason, especially since like the one preview said 20 years ago, 4 men or whatever started a thing.
Hollywood just wants that name. Like, they're just like, let's just get the big name that's really hot in nostalgia right now and just remake it and bank on that.
The best thing that came out of that was like discovering Leslie Jones and Kate McKinnon on like a larger scale. She was my favorite part of that movie. Like, I did like nothing, which is ironic because in the trailers with her, I was like, I don't know, she might be a little over the top, but like that's what made that made the movie work. Chris Hemsworth character, I think, made the movie work. Like, I really liked his comedy.
Yeah, some guys are really upset. They're like, why was he cast in this? He was just used as a sex object. It's like, how does it feel? God, nerds can be like so dumb and just like walk into like the worst.
Yeah, the Evil Dead remake. Yeah, I agree. I think if they were to like just make it a different movie, then not only they wouldn't have been handcuffed to like, let's hit these A, B, and C. Like, they had to hit those certain marks to like make it an Evil Dead movie. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good. If they ended up following through with what their original intention was, which was to like have a Army of Darkness 2 and then have an Evil Dead 2 and then have a Universes Meet.
How would you make Army of Darkness realistic? You fly into a portal and land into another time where there are flying like demon skeleton people.
That property through comic books and stuff, they have done enough, to my understanding, because I've only read one comic from them. That they've done two, because they did the Marvel Zombies 2 versus Army of Darkness. But I feel like there's enough with that history that you can figure something out to combine those universes. But that being said, we have the show on Stars now, which I think is great. Like, I love Ash vs. Evil Dead. I'm actually wearing my Ash vs. Evil Dead shirt.
Yeah,
right
it's
now.
great.
So it's
I love every part of that. But yeah, it's definitely a big influence on a lot of the stuff that I write. Even I've written I guess I'm going to call it a feature. I've written the opening scene to a feature that's definitely very, very Ash versus Evil Dead-esque. It's just like, I love that fast violence and gore. It's like a little bit Three Stooges-esque, which gives it a little bit. It makes it a little funny. Makes you like, okay, I can laugh at this violence.
I really like him as like. There's not like, I loved his Jack of all trades show. Everything he's done. Like, there's not anything that I've watched Bruce Campbell do and me say that's awful. Like, I think it just released.
Got a new book coming out, or
he stopped through Philly. I think was one of his first stops, and I was like, yeah.
Oh, I need to get that. I read If Chins Could Kill, which is a very good book.
Got it when hard copy was out. I think I may have the paperback, but yeah, I read that. He had this sequel, Make Love the Bruce Campbell Way.
I need to with If Chins Could Kill. If you're a filmmaker and you're listening to this, definitely read that, because it talks about how they made Evil Dead and the technology. Like, they put a 2x4 together and they put petroleum jelly on it to make it like a dolly. And watching Ash versus Evil Dead now, and I'm like, that's a drone shot. I bet he's really happy that he doesn't have to put like gel on 2x4s anymore.
I read that book when it first came out, so it's been a while since I read it, and I forgot that it was like so. It is like a good little book to read, like for a crash course in like cheap filmmaking.
Bruce Campbell would work out 7 days a week, be shooting 20 hours, and he would work out 2 hours a day. Like, when I read that, I was like, damn. And that's why he looks that good in that, so good in that movie, because like he really worked hard to like make himself fit. But I guess now he's
that's
just
why
like,
he has a little team behind him, and he doesn't.
He still looks handsome as ever, Bruce. You're still handsome as ever. But when I read, like, I want to look good on camera. When I read that, I was like, damn, Bruce Campbell, 2 hours a day.
Yeah,
plus,
I can't.
Like, 20
I can't
hours
convince
of
myself to
shooting.
work out for 30 minutes a
Almost.
day, let alone an hour to a day.
No, you have to.
Yeah, I mean,
everybody's got to
eventually.
work out a little
I'll
bit.
get back to it. I don't know. It's an issue of mine. I just like food too much, so.
You can like food. All you need is 30 minutes. 30 minutes of cardio is really all you need to get like your heart going. I know. I drink wine every night, and I'm just like, and I smoke, and I'm just like, you know what? If I'm gonna treat my body this way, I'm gonna like treat it good too. So you have to like. I ran 3 miles this morning, so I was like, I can drink this wine, and I don't have to feel bad about it.
When I drink, I only feel like, honestly, I only feel bad if I go to Burger King or something like that. Like it's.
Oh, I can't do that anymore. I can't even eat that stuff anymore. It's so. If my stomach
I wish
would,
I could get back to. I was at that point for a while, and then I gave up on working out. I was like, all right, I'm good. I can stop. I can go back to my ways, and then it just all caught up again. So eventually.
You can never stop. That's the thing that sucks about working out. You can never stop. You have to do it all the time. Like I didn't last week. I was really bad. Like I didn't work out.
It does. It is something that like it gets you. Like when I do work out, I'm way more awake than I normally am, and it's just it is a fun thing. I just talked myself into it. I got to go to the gym now. I mean, not now, but
Good,
within the
Yay!
next. I think I told my fiance, I was like, I'm joining the gym in November. Like it's gonna happen. So
it's a good idea. Just start with a walk. 30-minute walk is all you need to do is to start off.
Well, and that's not gonna happen because I beat up my body as a kid. So like when they say don't try wrestling at home, they mean like don't like power bomb your friends onto the hard ground. Because 20 years. Yeah, 20 years later, your back's gonna hurt.
That's not a good idea.
But it's whatever.
My brother's a maniac. My brother does. My brother just completed a half Ironman this weekend. He's like an animal. People think I'm nuts, but like my brother's totally put together. But he does like these ridiculous physical feats of strength and like endurance. And I'm like, that's how he's crazy. That's how my brother's nuts. Right, he worked out for 5 hours on Sunday. 5 hours.
Oh well, then okay.
Granted, he got a medal, which is pretty cool.
Like that,
but
then you can have justification for it.
But damn, like after an hour, I'm like, I'm done. Like that's as much as I can do. An hour and a half, and you're pushing it.
Did want to talk about where people can help. I guess find out more about your projects, and also, I guess, throw some money at it.
Yeah, oh my god, please give me money. So Mezza Morta, like I'm really trying to raise money because, and people are like, what do you need that budget for? I believe that the people that I want to collaborate with are smart, talented, and they are worth their time, and I want to give them money so that they can, pay rent.
That's a good idea.
Or feed themselves, perhaps. So yeah, I'm a big believer of trying to give back as much as I can. So I'm trying to raise this money to put together. We're already talking about all these ideas on how to build a set for Mezza Morta. We're talking about costumes. I'm doing storyboards. You can go to gofundme.com/Mezza, Mezza, Morta, Morta, and give me money. I mean, because you believe that it's a great time to be a woman in entertainment and you want to support that. All the guys that say that they're all about women, female directors, like, help me out. I'm super poor. And I want to pay people. It's just like I think it's important to know that movies take a lot of time and a lot of effort and a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. I'm sure, as you know, and the people that I know are awesome, and I want to tell them how they're awesome.
This is
money.
like just from a someone who like I know. This is the first time I've like worked or talked to somebody that's like done something through GoFundMe. What was the attraction to go through GoFundMe versus like Kickstarter or Indiegogo or? Okay.
There's no time constraint. Number one. Kickstarter, like you have a month. I honestly feel like I'm starting from square one. Since moving from Philadelphia to New York and then taking about a year and a half to go to class,
Okay.
I haven't really been making stuff recently. And the podcast and this web series is just a way for me to ask the people who have been listening to me for a while to be like, hey guys, help me out. I want to show everybody what I'm made of. 2016 sucked and it happened, but I'm ready to take the wheel and I'm ready to finally do what I've been talking about doing for years. And I think the time is right because I'm not getting any younger, guys. Gotta break. Gotta
and that's like the thing I keep telling my buddy. It's like, hey man, we're getting older, right? Like we're not getting younger. That's not how this works. So like we need to, especially like if we're gonna like, because like it's very like I pull from like the projects we're working on right now is very Kevin Smith and Jake and Amir influenced. And it's like that and if we're gonna play like these characters, like we can only pass for like late 20s at this point. Like I don't know that we can pass for anything younger than that. So like it's gotta happen now, man. So you're playing. That's tough. The other thing is like that's what I'm doing too. Is just like trying to play the characters too. It's a lot of work for
it's
me.
A big undertaking.
It's just to kind of like be able to do it. I feel like it's just cheaper and I guess less people I have to rely on if I play one of the roles. And like this project is just literally it's basically kind of playing like more fantasized versions of ourselves. So it's like that's the whole purpose of that. It's just to have fun, like more to have fun than anything else. But hopefully that will lead to the next thing, the bigger thing, and that will not be me starring in it and directing it because I'll have a cameo at best. I don't know. Yeah. Or like it's just it's easier that way. It's just to pop in.
But yeah, I've been working behind the scenes in the Philadelphia area for about 10 years. So I've been on a bunch of sets. I've been on like professional film sets, commercial sets, and I've learned a lot. And film is a very interesting art form, and the way everybody comes together to create a movie, it's like summer camp. And I really want to be able to create an environment that is accepting, that is really nice and collaborative, because I love making movies and I want this to be my life, and I want to bring my friends along with me. And I really hope that with making something like Mezza Morta, people will be able to see something that is in my head and I don't know, like it, I guess. But it's like my opportunity to be like, I can't really put my money where my mouth is until I make something. So this is like my first big attempt at doing anything narrative. I mean, I've done like Creepy Basement is the web series that I put together, but that was really more of an interview series. And I'm ready to tackle the narrative. Well,
and it's
genre.
I'm envious because you're like you're there. You're waiting for the money at this point. You're just waiting for the money. I guess that's the hard part, but
I know. It's the hardest part because I'm not rich, and to like get people, and I'm also an introvert, so I'm not like one of those people who could go out and really wow people at like a club and be like, hey, let me tell you about like my big movie. So I'm just really I'm trying to make this podcast and like put myself out there and be honest and like talk to other people, talk to people like you, and reintroduce myself, and hopefully somebody would be like, I believe in that young lady, and will reach out. That's my dream.
I'm very excited to be on the ground floor of the journey that you're taking, and hopefully it happens much sooner than later. So.
Yeah, and I gotta make room for my Philly peeps. I'll never forget Philly, but I might make fun of Philly.
I make fun of
but
Philly,
that's just only because
I'm
Philly.
45 minutes away from it, so. Yeah, exactly.
If you don't make fun of Philly, then you're not Philly.
So before we let you go, let's get your all the plugs that you want to get out of there. Where people can find you and whatnot.
Plugs. All right, here I go. You can subscribe to my podcast wherever you get podcasts. I'm on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, you name it, I got it. It's called Apocalypse ... now with a question mark, meaning, oh my God, is it happening now? You can go to bitcomedy.co and subscribe directly there. Make sure you follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at Jo Pincushion. If you already know me, then you already know that. And make sure you go to gofundme.com/Mezza Morta and help me out. Help me achieve my dreams.
The best thing about 2017 or the 21st century is that crowdfunding exists. I think like it's opened up so many doors for so many people, and new media and all that stuff makes it easier to be a creator. Kind of. It also makes it harder, I guess, because there's more of us.
Yeah, it's not easy. I mean, it's a great way to control your content and to be able to take your future into your hands. And filmmaking now is like being an entrepreneur. You need to have a business plan. You need to have model. And I do, like, I hope Mezza Morta rolls into, I have another series called Will Joe Die in my head. And I have an idea for a feature, and I have an idea for a broadcast television show. So I'm hoping that one thing leads to one thing leads to another.
I can't join in because my voice is awful. So I'm tone deaf. That's what it is.
Right. Oh, so you need to start singing more. You need to start exercising more.
I can definitely start singing more. No. Exercising more. I can commit to that, and I can commit to writing more, but not singing more.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you for being on the show. It was a great time talking to you and learning more about you and where you came from and whatnot.
Yeah, and if you want to learn more, go to joannavanthuyne.com,
suckers!
But I doubt you know how to spell it.
For Everything's Awesome, I'm Kev. You can find us right here on awesomepodcast.com and coretemparts.com, as we're part of the Core Temp Arts Podcast Network. We've been awesome!
Thank you for listening to the Core Temp Arts Podcast Network. To listen to more Core Temp Arts shows, visit coretemparts.com.